Welcome to the garden. Today while I was on a walk, I noticed this plant sitting by the curb. And this was a freebie. I believe it's called a spider plant. And it's really well known for its cascading vines that send out new plants. It's still attached to the main plant, but it actually has a nice set of roots all on its own. It has beautiful light green foliage with white striped leaves. And as a bonus, this just happens to be flowering. Isn't that incredible? It has these beautiful little delicate white flowers. They almost sparkle in the sunlight. And this must have been flowering for a while because it actually has seed pods as well. So we might be able to try to grow this from seed. It looks like the little pods come in clusters of 3. So I imagine there's 3 little seeds in each pod. And I may try to get several new pots because look at all of these plants. Each one of these could be its own individual plant. There is some open space in its current pot, so we could plant them here, but this pot is actually damaged slightly. It does have a few cracks, and some of them are pretty big. And overall, the pot is also pretty large for an indoor plant, which is where this is going to end up. And I know for a fact this was outdoors for at least a couple days. So I don't know how many bugs are on it, or how many bugs have buried themselves in the soil. So I think what I'm going to do is clean them up and repot them in some smaller containers. Now this one used to have a little house plant, which has since died back, so we can go ahead and get rid of that. My original idea was to repot these larger plants, but I think it's going to be a lot easier to actually do these new little pups. Look at the size of this one. That's a nice one. Not only does it have these really big hardy roots, it has a few little delicate roots right over here. So that's really nice. And I think these would be a lot easier to clean up as we're not taking any soil with us. And you can actually keep these attached and have them root while they're still attached to the main plant. That might give them a little boost, but I think I'm going to keep the main plant outdoors for now and just up-pot these little guys. Then to clean these up before we bring them inside, I'm just going to throw them into a bucket of water. And one by one, I'm just going to give them a little shower. We'll try to get underneath the leaves and on top as well, just to wash off any bugs that might be on them. Alternatively, you could also soak these and just keep them submerged underwater overnight, or just for a few hours even. And hopefully that'll get rid of any bugs that are left. It's not guaranteed to work, but by submerging them, in theory, the bugs will kind of swim to the surface and off of our plants. Now that we've given these a little rinse and a little soak, I feel a lot better about bringing them indoors. Just gonna shake it off one last time to get rid of any final bugs, hopefully. And look at those beautiful roots, wow. Because these were hanging freely, they do have a few leaves kind of at the bottom, which I'm gonna just very gently remove. Get rid of this one too. That way we're not burying them and they're gonna die back anyways. So we'll just gather up our leaves here so that we just have our root ball. And we'll just barely submerge it. We don't need to bury it completely. We actually want those sticking out just a little bit. Just about like that. So there's number one. And I'm going to pack in quite a few into this pot. And there's our finished container. And it just looks amazing. It really looks nice and full. And we didn't bury any of them too deep, so it was really simple. I'm just gonna give this some fresh water. I don't wanna reuse the water from our bucket because that could have pests in it. So we'll just give it a little drink. And that's ready to go in. And you can use this on the vegetable garden. That's perfectly fine. And we have a lot more little pups if we want to do another pot later. And then of course we still have the main plants, which are going to be perfectly fine outdoors for the next few days before I decide what to do with them. So I'm going to bring this indoors. Our newest addition to the indoor garden, a beautiful little spider plant. And I'm going to keep this in the shade for at least the first few days or maybe even a week. But spider plants do really well in low light conditions, which makes them an excellent houseplant. I hope you enjoyed this video on my brand new spider plants. Stay tuned for updates, and thank you all so much for watching.